Good morning, fourth grade. Today your lesson is on the metric system prefixes. We have already talked last year and this year quite a bit about these prefixes, so I just want to briefly go over them. And you're going to have a couple lessons like this that we're going to use as reminders and reviews, but really it comes down to the English lesson that comes with math. So all metric measures use the same prefixes. All metric measures. Now remember, in America we use standard American measurements, but we learn about metric also because most of the rest of the world uses metric system. Learn these prefixes and their meaning, and the metric system is very easy. And we especially want to learn this because we are about to learn our decimals. And if we can relate our decimals to our fractions and use these word parts, decimals will be so very easy. So I would encourage you to write this in your interactive notebook. Kilo means 1,000. So if we're talking about kilometers, you have 1,000 meters, you get to a kilometer. Hecto means 100. Okay, so over here you see 1,000 units. Then you see 100 units. A deca means 10 units. Now we get to the unit. When it gets to unit, that means like a unit could be a meter. It could be a liter, gram, etc. So those are the units. And so it means like if I say meter, then all of these are going to be like a decameter, a hectometer, a kilometer, a decagram. And then so this would be like equal to 1. Okay, as a unit. Then once we get less than 1, we get to the parts, which would be like our fractions. So here's our fraction of 1/10 of a unit. So that means like 1/10 of a meter is a decimeter. Think of the word decimeter from the word decimal. Sorry, that slid on me. So a decimeter is in the 1/10ths place, which is what our fraction is. It says 1/10. A centimeter, think about how many years are in what we call 100 years. We call it a century. And a centimeter is 1/100th of a meter. It takes 100 centimeter. And that one would be in our hundredths place. It's a decimal. And then a millimeter, you need 1,000 millimeters to get to 1 meter. And that's in if this one's our tenths place, this is our hundredths place, then this one is our thousandths place. And that's millimeter. So if you learn these, then it will help you with decimals coming up. Okay, then it says fill in each box with greater than or less than or equal to. So it wrote it on a stair step. These get bigger, obviously, and it goes up the stairs. Unit being like 1, like the whole, okay? And then these are here are less than a whole. So it's like fractions. Let me say that. Okay? So it's part of a whole, which is what a fraction is. So is the decameter or decimeter bigger? Well, one of them means times 10. The other one is 1/10 of. So decameter is bigger. Okay, find centi compared to a unit. I'll use a different color. Here's centi, here's unit. So that means that the unit is bigger, the centa is less. Okay, I'll erase those pink. Okay, hectometer versus kilometer. Okay, look up at the above. Here's kilo, here's hecto, and the kilo is bigger because it is worth 1,000 versus 100. Versus deca, I'll let you try to figure that one out. Now, here's where it gets hard. When you start adding powers of 10. So this first one, we have 10 units. So that means if I have a 10 right here compared to 1 deca. Well, 1 deca is 10 units. So if I have 10 units, it means I made it to 1 deca, so that is equal. Okay, so see how that gets trickier? All right, then, sorry, I'll go back and put that back. All right, the next one, we have 100 centimeters compared to 10 decimeters. Well, think about it in terms of a fraction, and I'll write it over here on the side. If I have, here is my hundredths place, so my centimeters. This would be the hundredths, this would be the tenths. So if I have I could have 1, I could have 2, I could have 3, I can have any number, but as soon as I get to the number 10, if I get 10, then I have to come over here like this, which becomes 1 decimeter. Well, when I have 10 decimeters, okay, I have 10 decimeters, then that means I have a unit. So this makes 1 unit. Okay, because I got 10 hundreds made a decimeter, but once I get all the way up and I can go like this, 2, 3, 4, all the way to 10, well then my 1 goes there and there's my 10. So that makes 1 unit. Once I get 100 centimeters, 100 centimeters makes 1 unit. So that one is also equal. Okay. That's where it starts getting tricky, is when you have to think about the powers of 10. The next one, 100 centimeters compared to 100 hectometers. Okay, so here's centimeters, here's hecto. They're both 100. So which one's greater? Hopefully you realize that. Okay, if they're the same amount, then I definitely have to go with the one that is the bigger amount. Okay. All right, so now on this next one, it says write the number that completes the equation. So 1 unit, if I have 1 meter, so instead of the word unit, if you need to think of something, you can always put meter in there. If I have 1 meter, how many deci units is it? How many decimeters is it? Deci is right here, and it's 1/10, so that means you get 10 decimeters. Okay, how many centi-units? How many centimeters? How many centimeters do you get to 1 meter? You need 100. How many millimeters do I need to get to 1 meter? I need 1,000. Okay, now they go backwards. They start with the bigger one. They start with the deca, which is up here. And they say, if I have 1 deca unit, how many units is that? So if I have 1 decameter, then that means I have 10 meters, because it says 10 units. A deca is 10 meters. If I have a hectometer, then that means I have 100 meters. If I have a kilometer or kilometer, it means I have 1,000 meters. Okay, so I would write this in your interactive notebook to help you remember. Then the story problem says, Jeremiah cut 18½ inches off of a 24-inch board. How long was the board after he cut it? Okay, so you need to do some fractions there. You might need to convert. Okay. Charlotte's Bakery used 6 pounds of strawberries to make strawberry tarts and twice as many strawberries for strawberry cheesecakes. How many total pounds of strawberries did he use? Okay. On the back side, it says follow the signs, but it says reduce if necessary. So you need to reduce your fractions. And number 5. you're going to practice the front side without looking back. Try to complete the chart, writing the metric prefixes. So I'm going to give you a hint. Like this one has the same starting letter as this one. Okay. Unfortunately, that's the only one in this case, but those two have the same. Okay, and then you have another story problem. Malaya bought 3 donuts for her sisters and a box of donuts and muffins for her Sunday school class. Write how much each donut and each muffin cost. So what is listed here, $120, that is how much she paid. So you need to figure out, if she bought 3 donuts, how much each donut is worth. And you have to figure that out before you can move on to figure out then if however much the donut is worth is going to help you figure out those 6. Then you use, this was her total for the box, so you can take away how much the donuts cost to figure out how much is left, and then split that among your 4 muffins. So it's a tricky story problem because there's a lot of steps, but this is kind of like a brain booster. Even though it's not yet your clever cranium, it is one that you need to do. All right, so this is gonna help you boost that problem solving part of your brain. Okay, so good luck, and as always, if you have any questions, please raise your hand.